My name is Sata, and I'm making this video testimony from Monrovia, Liberia. I've come to testify of the goodness of God and for what He has done in my life and for the life of my husband and my family. And on the 29th of December, that morning, the prayer ended and everything. And then my husband and I, we had a little issue. My sister and my mother had come over to visit, and we were sitting discussing as a family, and all of a sudden, he left. And we didn't know by that time, but he had actually gone to the bathroom, and we didn't know that he had just slumped and just dropped and was already dead. So hours had passed, like an hour, almost 2 hours had passed, and my sister and I, we were talking and all of that. And then it dawned on us that, okay, we haven't seen him, and I actually honestly thought that maybe he had stepped out of the house or something. And little did I know that my husband was laying down in the bathroom. My daughter, my oldest daughter, went to the bathroom door, just checking around the house to see if he was somewhere in the house, because she had told us that that was the last place that she saw him walking to. And when she tried to push the door was like closed, but she could see, like a person's head lying on the ground. And she came panicking, running to me and telling me what she had seen. And so when we got there, we saw, just exactly what she explained. And our neighbors came and they helped, break down the door. And by then, from his waist down to his feet, it was already stiff. It was very ice block cold. Cold as in real frozen cold. And his hands were clenched like this. On top of that, his lip, had twisted, and he had foam covered all around his mouth, and his, just the way he looked. I mean, we were scared, we were panicking, and everyone was running helter-skelter. Everyone was screaming and crying, and I was just in a state of shock. I was really in a state of shock. But in that state of shock, what I do remember is the words, that Pastor Jerry would always pronounce, that we shall not bury, we shall not be buried. So that was what came to my mind in the midst of all of the running around that people were doing in the house. I was overwhelmed with emotions. I was thinking, like, it's the end of the year. I mean, I've just got through praying. I started thinking, I'm like, okay, what are my in-laws going to say? How am I even going to explain? I mean, I don't even understand. What sense does this make? Through it all, I kept saying to myself, and I kept holding on to the words of God, that we shall not bury and we shall not be buried. And God stepped in for us. God really, really stepped in for me. And as God could have it, after several hours, he came back to life. I want to bless God so much. And I want to be so thankful for you, Pastor Jerry, for you, Pastor Eno, Pastor Ugulu, for always praying with us, for giving us this platform that we can, have a change of life, and that we can know that God does exist, and that when these times come, we can remember just one prayer point. And that was the prayer point that I remembered, that we shall not bury, we shall not be buried. There shall be no loss. And actually, God did that. There was no loss. Because just imagine the 29th of December, there's 2 more days for the year to end. How was I going to start? How was I going to start 2023? But today, I am so thankful to God. And I want to say, what God cannot do does not exist.